let's get into this mess. So apparently Trump is trying to still do whatever he can to distract everybody from these damn Epstein files, because now he's slamming the Breakfast Club, Charlamagne the God, over his recent appearance on that other Nepo broad. I can't say Nepo baby because she basically got into the marriage because she's fucking his ugly ass son, the one that looked like Sloth from the Goonies, aka Eric Trump. Yeah, that's her husband. So now Trump is coming out because Charlamagne went on her show that, of course, is on Fox News, because who else would give her a gig, especially when Trump has been giving everybody who was at Fox News once upon a time gigs in politics. Most recently, Janine Pirro, who always looks like she's melting on camera in real time with all that, and I'm sure like if you stabbed her in the arm or whatever, she'd bleed alcohol or rosé or Merlot. Take your pick of which wine. So yeah, so he went on her show, was talking about his whole policies of how he's been doing for the past 6 months, and he's been talking about his big bullshit bill, because that's basically what it is. It's not a big, like, the fact of you giving a bill a title like it's some type of marketing situation is just clownery to me. But this is what our country is now. Everything is political. Everything is I hear people say take politics out of everything. Everything has been made political by this current administration, and for the past, since his first administration, he has found a way to politicize and market every little thing like he's on the goddamn QVC. So for y'all to sit up here and try to say stop making things political, good luck with that, because everything that you're looking at is political. First of all, this was pointed out from the days of, if you ever watched the movie They Live, that kind of has been put out there like that. So y'all just ain't been paying attention. But so yeah, so he went on and talked about his big BS bill and all this other stuff, and how he won't be affected by it because, of the tax bracket. But I do think that there will be some rich people affected. He said that people who aren't as well off as he is will be affected financially. And so the Donald decided, because he ain't got nothing else to do, you would think that as the president of the United States, you're actually supposed to be running the country and working on things like foreign policy, bringing down, certain budgets, helping with, universal health care, whatever. But no, he's not doing that. His administration is all about subtraction. They're good at taking things away from people. Your medical insurance, jobs, all kind of federal jobs. They just got rid of the thing that was, public access and all the other stuff. Like, he's real good. They favorite math symbol is subtraction. Like I said, it's not about helping the people. And I think people are outraged. And it's like this whole distraction from the Jeffrey Epstein files, because he is in them, and some of the tea that was coming out about it. Like, I saw a video today, and I'll get into that in a second, of someone who knew Jeffrey Epstein, and Jeffrey Epstein actually showed him photos of Donald Trump in compromising positions with girls who looked like they were underage, and how at one point they were sitting on his lap and all this other stuff, and then there was like 3 girls that you couldn't tell what their age was. I have the clip, and I'm gonna show it to y'all, because I've been telling y'all this for the longest, and now we have proof of it, because people think I just be pulling stuff out my ass and just make stuff up. Said that they were laughing and pointing at his pants because he had a little stain on the pants from being overly excited with these young girls. And this is around the time I think that one of his he was undergoing some bankruptcy type stuff. So yeah, so instead of him actually doing something like governing and being the president, which is what presidents usually do, instead of jumping on social media every 3 seconds with some BS, he posted the following. So I don't know if you can see it, but I'm gonna read it. So he said, the very wonderful and talented Laura Trump, whose show is a big rating success, sometimes this shit writes itself, put racist sleazebag Charlamagne the God. Why is he allowed to use the word God when describing himself? Can anyone imagine the uproar there would be if I use that nickname? He's a low IQ individual, has no idea what words are coming out of his mouth, and knows nothing about me and what I have done. Like just ending 5 wars. What wars have you ended? Just name one. Because if you're talking about the war in Gaza, no, it was just announced today that they're making moves, Israel, to move in and fully occupy Gaza. And the next move they're going to do is the West Bank. So what war did you end? Ukraine and Russia still fighting. You actually just picked a fight with Russia and got submarines aimed at Russia, like you about to start a nuclear war. And then the Russians had to go over there and remind you, sir, you're our bitch. You ain't running stuff over here. So you trying to run around act like you this big and bad wannabe gangster. You are not Al Capone. You're not even under the shit under Al Capone's shoe. So you over here trying to act like you're this big and bad guy when it's like you're a paisan if you want to get Italian. Like you're an idiot. So it's not happening. So I'm trying to sit up here and flex in front of your demographic or your MAGA constituents. Maybe that looks good because the perception and the image works, but nobody's buying it. Well, at least those of us with common sense and a damn brain, we're not buying it. So yeah, he said he ended 5 wars. Just name which one, sir. Including a 31-year bloodbath between the Republic of Congo and Rwanda, where 7 million people have died and there was no end in sight. He didn't know that. Or India and Pakistan, or wiping out Iran's nuclear capabilities. First of all, Iran never had nuclear weapons. So what are you talking about? How do I know this? And I'm not even the fucking president. But that was a narrative y'all kept putting out there that Iran had nuclear weapons. They never had it, actually. In fact, if we're going to talk about it, wasn't there someone of Libya who gave up their arms and everything, and then he was sodomized by I forget what, I think it was like he was violently sodomized and then killed on film. I believe they recorded it and showed it. So then he also went on to say, or closing a horrendous open border, or creating the greatest economy where prices and inflation have come way down. That's a lie. And where stupid and corrupt Joe Biden set the record for doing the worst job. Why does he always have to bring Biden or Obama and stuff? But this dope, Charlamagne, would vote for Sleepy Joe or Kamala. Remember, 1 year ago, our country was dead. Now it's the hottest country anywhere in the world. And then put MAGA with 3 exclamation points. This man is unhinged. This man needs to be in a straitjacket, in a mental institution, and locked up forever. Where does he get off to say all this stuff? And then on top of that, I'm about sick of him when we don't even know what color you are. Always coming in on people of color and always call them low IQ. You did it with AOC. You did it with Kamala Harris. You're doing it with Charlamagne. So anybody who is remotely a shade of brown, do y'all know, or woman, y'all notice he always says that y'all got a low IQ? But if we actually did an IQ test with you, I know you would fail. There's enough people in your situation where you're going to have them cook the books. But the way you talk, you lie. Somebody said we're the hottest country because we're in hell. Straight on point with
but
that.
But he better watch his back. I'm scared for him. Trump is going to target every exceptional black person he can think of. We're about a week away from him saying that Urkel did 9/11. Did he do that? No, John. No, he didn't. He was nowhere near the towers that day. He's got to come clean about Epstein. I am sick of this.
I agree. How much longer can he avoid talking about it?
Obviously, it depends on how many black people he has left.
Why do black people matter?
Why do black people matter, John? What the Well, John, we still got a lot of work to do.
I know. I meant, why do they matter to the Epstein story?
It's because Trump is trying to throw every black person he can think of in front of this scandal to distract us. First, he released the Martin Luther King Jr. files. Then he accused Obama of treason. And now he wants to prosecute Oprah and Beyonce. He's coming after all of our greatest black people. Who's next? Michael Jordan? Michael B. Jordan? Michael C. Jordan?
Who is Michael C. Jordan?
I don't know, John, but he better watch his back. I'm scared for him. Trump is going to target every exceptional black person he can think of. We're about a week away from him saying that Urkel did 9/11. Did he?
Okay, so yeah, so that was basically what how Charlamagne responded to a lot of the hate that he was getting over Trump, and this is what he posted over on his Instagram. And let's read some of the comments again. Then I'm gonna play y'all his donkey of the day. Which as soon as I saw this yesterday, I was actually on my way home from working. I'm not even gonna get into it. The Mets game. It was a crazy day yesterday, but yeah. So I was on my way home and I was just checking on my messages or whatever. And as I was reading this, I literally posted, I was like, I am looking forward to Charlamagne's donkey of the day the next day, which is today. And I got I'm going to actually play it for y'all if y'all haven't seen it. But let's get through some of the comments that the people were saying. So another person said he's a low IQ individual, and then proceeds to create the longest run-on sentence with 380 grammatical errors. This was a pain. Yeah, damn sure was. Says this was painful to read for me. let alone you haven't read. They say you made it. The president of the United States is worried about you. Yeah, that is true. Now, if Trump, you know what? Even though I say that this bar gossip, the bar is set in hell if you literally are looking at it like you haven't made it until Donald Trump reads you on True Social. And as somebody said, Donkey of the Day will be legendary tomorrow. And now, speaking of Donkey of the Day, let's get into it. So this is pretty lengthy. It's about 7 minutes. This is going to be so we'll play that clip. I had to change the tempo on it because, they love coming after me over there at the Breakfast Club. So I had to change the so he's going to be told a little quick. Not to the point where y'all can't understand what he's saying. He's not going to sound like a chipmunk. But we're going to play the clip, and then we'll come back and we'll talk. Please hold.
Donkey today for Monday, August 4th, goes to President Donald J. Trump. Now, if you haven't heard, I was on Lara Trump's show, My View, on Fox this past weekend. Dropping a clue bomb for Lara Trump. She's been a guest on Breakfast Club before, so I had no problem showing up to her program. I'm one of those silly rabbits who still believes in the First Amendment. Okay, freedom of speech. Thankfully, Lara is a Trump who still believes in freedom of speech because her father-in-law, the 47th president of the United States of America, did not take too kindly to some things I had to say. Now,
how do you rate his president?
Hold on. Before we get to that, I got to ask a question. So how is it that she gets to call her show My View and y'all hate The View? Y'all talk about you can't stand the women over there at The View because they're always going in on Donald Trump, but you call your show My View? Get out of here. Talk about unoriginality. Anyway, let's get back to the thing. I was just something I was thinking about and I forgot to mention.
So far.
I wouldn't give it a good rating, simply because, the least of us are still being impacted the worst. Like when you look at something like, the big beautiful bill, that's something that, I'm going to benefit from because of the tax bracket that I'm in. But, there's going to be so many people that's hurt by that bill. And, anything that takes away Medicaid from people and is going to put people in a worse financial situation than, they were previously in, I'm not for it. I mean, where is the lie? Trump's big beautiful bill is going to make the rich richer and the poor poor. Okay, the other issue I said on My View with Lara Trump is I believe traditional conservatives are quietly staging a political coup to take their party back from MAGA. I explained this to y'all a couple of weeks ago. Traditional conservatives are going to take the Republican Party back. I think there's a political coup going on right now in the Republican Party that people aren't paying attention to. This Epstein thing is going to be a way for traditional conservatives to take their party back. I think that they know this is the issue that has gotten the base riled up. The MAGA base isn't letting this issue go. And for the first time, they know they can probably take their party back and not piss off the MAGA base. I think they're going to do that. Just a conspiracy theory I have. It just feels like traditional conservatives who lost the party to Trump could use this opportunity to get it back because the MAGA base wouldn't be upset at all if they impeached Trump and voted to remove him because he's in the Epstein files. Trump didn't like any of that, so he replied with a long-ass post on Truth Social.
The very wonderful and talented Lara Trump, whose show is a big rating success, put racist sleazebag Charlamagne the God. Why is he allowed to use the word God when describing himself? Can anyone imagine the uproar there would be if I use that nickname?
We'll study your lessons.
He's a low IQ individual, has no idea what words are coming out of his mouth, and knows nothing about me or what I've done. Like just ending 5 wars, including a 31-year bloodbath between Republic of the Congo and Rwanda, where 7 million people have died, and there was no end in sight. He did not know that. Or India and Pakistan, or wiping out Iran's nuclear capabilities, or closing the horrendous open border, or creating the greatest economy where prices and inflation have come way down, and where stupid and corrupt Joe Biden set the record for doing the worst job as president ever. But this dope Charlamagne would vote for Sleepy Joe or Kamala? ? Remember, 1 year ago, our country was dead, and now it's the hottest, and he capitalized hottest, country anywhere in the world, MAGA.
Now, the personal insults, I don't care. He called me a sleazebag. I looked up the definition of sleazebag. Says it's a disgusting or despicable person. Depending on who you ask, that may apply to me. Okay, I personally prefer friendly neighborhood a-hole. He said I'm a low IQ individual. I don't know. I've never taken an IQ test. He said I have no idea what words are coming out of my mouth. Absolutely true. Okay, I've been surprising myself my whole life. Like, damn, I actually said that? Now, let's get to your claims. He said I don't know anything about him ending 5 wars. Mr. President, nobody knew that. Because it's not true. All right. There is zero evidence, nothing credible whatsoever that says President Trump played any role in ending the ongoing conflict in the Eastern DRC or in Rwanda. Okay. America has not brokered any major peace deal between the DRC and Rwanda during Trump's second term. And wiping out Iran's nuclear capabilities, you did pull off a significant strike, but it didn't eliminate Iran's nuclear capabilities. Saying you wiped it out is an overstatement because according to reports, no enrichment facility was destroyed and Iran's nuclear threat is still very active. And some experts argue it's more dangerous now due to a lack of international oversight and the increased beef with Israel and the USA. Now, you also claim the borders were closed, not closed, but you have tightened immigration policies and increased enforcement. You have definitely made the border harder to cross, but saying it's closed is false and ignores everyone coming over seeking legal asylum. By the way, I want border security. I just want you to keep your promise of deporting illegals and criminals. But since Homeland Security started to work to deport more people, okay, immigrants with legal status or no criminal history are being detained and deported too. That's not right. Okay, your family is always in fear.
Whose family you talking
okay,
about?
all right, listen. My fellow Americans, listen. My fellow Americans, we are in a strange time right now. A time we have never seen because authoritarian strategy is being used against anyone who speaks out against this administration. But that, along with his reaction to what I said on Laura Trump, shows how authoritarians will attempt to bully people into pushing false narratives. President Trump, do you realize the best way to get the headlines you want is to simply do a good job? Is to simply do right by all Americans? He called me a racist. I didn't mention race not one time on Laura Trump. I didn't bring up.
Not only that, but black people cannot be racist. I'm tired of people saying that now because black people do not have authority over a specific race. Now, white people do, hello, colonialism. So black people have never come to a point where they've come on ships, they've been able to enslave a group of people and have power and authoritarianism. Is that a word? Authoritativeness. I guess that's the word we're going to use because apparently I'm tongue-tied today over another race. So black people cannot be racist. They can be prejudiced, but you can't be racist. So Trump's an idiot. But anyway, let's get back to the clip. Oh, and also, yeah, let me just get back to the clip.
The fact that President Trump issued an executive order directing oversight of institutions like the Smithsonian to remove or suppress narratives about systemic racism in black history. They want to reframe cultural memory to eliminate discussions of historical racial injustice. That, along with determination of diversity and civil rights programs, are considered very racist by a lot of civil rights advocates. I didn't even bring that up. Okay, I was just talking to your base, letting your base know that you haven't kept the promises you made in regards to the economy. In fact, you've made things worse. It's actually hilarious to see you upset about the high unemployment rates when you let Elon Musk take a chainsaw to the federal government and fire a bunch of government workers earlier this year. You did that, President Trump, and now you're doing exactly what the Biden administration did, trying to convince America the economy is all good when it's not. Maybe for people in a certain tax bracket, but for majority of your constituents who aren't in the 1%, it's not all good. So you can hire a new labor statistics chief to lie about the numbers. It won't stop the reality of people being unemployed. Okay, you can tell falsehoods about inflation being down. It won't stop the reality of the price of consumer goods being high because of tariffs you implemented. So listen, President Trump, don't worry about Leonard. Okay, don't worry about Charlamagne the God. I know something I said hit a nerve and rattled you a little bit, but I don't want you rattled. I want you to end wars. Okay, I want you to keep the border secure. I want you to have the economy booming. Okay, I want all these things to be true. I am an American. I don't care who's in the White House. I want America to succeed. Okay, believe it or not, I'm rooting for you, but I need you focused. And right now, you're not focused. Okay, we need you focused on two things: the economy and Epstein. All right, I need you to keep the promises of a great economy and the promises of transparency with the Epstein files. And I don't want us as a people to be distracted. Whenever you see Trump trying to deflect from what's important, keep him focused. Ask two simple questions. What about the economy? What about the Epstein files?
All right, so that was pretty much the end of the clip. And we already know that the man doesn't know how to be focused on anything. He's erratic. He's always all over the place, and he's a disgusting human being. So we've already known that. And the fact that a country can elect someone who is a convicted felon, who is a known R-worder and abuser and want to be authoritarian. I see why allegedly Don Jr. be out here having to snort mountains of booger sugar, because it's like, how do you deal being a part of that family, dealing with that man 24/7, 365? But last but certainly not least, with that whole clip, there was something else I want to show you guys. So I came across this video of Michael Wolff, who has done a lot of interviews with Jeffrey Epstein, who recently did an interview with the Midas Touch, which is like another show that I absolutely love. I watch Midas Touch a lot. They do a lot of really good political news. It's the stuff you won't hear on network television, or any of the linear TV. But anyway, so there's this clip I want to show y'all where he was having an interview. And if you can, definitely go to Midas Touch's YouTube channel and subscribe, check them out and everything, because their content is great. But they basically talked about how the thing I was telling you earlier, that Jeffrey Epstein basically went, and when he was being interviewed by Michael Wolff, sat and said, I got to show you something. And then went into a safe and came out with pictures of Trump with girls of an uncertain age at Epstein's Palm Beach house. So while you say you've never been to the island, you've been on the plane, the Lolita Express, where you actually, screwed Melania, who I know she knows where all the bodies is buried. Because I think she's a victim, but she sacrificed what she had to become a legal, a legal citizen, allegedly. And a lot of the stuff that allegedly he might be accused of, whatever's in those Epstein files, may have happened at his Palm Beach house, and how 2 girls was sitting on his lap, and then the whole thing about the stain and all that other stuff. So yeah, I have that clip. We're gonna play that clip, and then we'll come back and talk. We make sure the audio was on. Please hold.
But at any rate, at one point after Trump had been elected, I was sitting talking to Epstein, and he said, "Wait a minute, I got to show you something." And then he went into his safe, and he came out with photographs. They were Polaroids, I think, and he kind of spread them out like playing cards, and it was Trump. I mean, I think there were a dozen of them, and it was Trump with girls of an uncertain age at Epstein's Palm Beach house, where all of the things that he would ultimately be accused of took place. And I remember very vividly 3 of them. There are 2 in which Trump is, the girls, topless girls, are sitting on Trump's lap. And then a 3rd in which he has a stain on the front of his pants, and the girls are kind of pointing at it, sort of bent over, laughing, covering
their mouths. And,
exactly, and pointing. 3 or 4 girls, and those are the ones I specifically remember. And my assumption is that they were in the safe, and I have seen him on other occasions take them out of the safe, and I think it's certainly not unlikely that they were in the safe when the FBI came in after his arrest and took everything from the house, including everything that was in the safe.
So yeah, so there you have it.
But
where I was trying to, literally, I was telling y'all, I was like, yeah, he is in those Epstein files. These are some of the things he doesn't want to get out. I know, like in linear television, they be trying to dot all their I's and cross all their T's because they don't want to say anything offensive and worry about getting sued and this, that, and the other. But if there's nothing to hide, as you claim that, this is a coup or something or another that's by Obama, which I'm like, Obama ain't thinking about your ass. He got other things on his mind to be worried about you. The same thing with Stephen A. Smith in that forehead, where he mad because Michelle done call his ass sassy, but you out here acting like a full-on bitch. I don't know why you surprised. Well, a hit dog a holler, apparently, because I'm sure y'all probably heard why Stephen A. Smith all of a sudden is mad at Michelle Obama, but she ain't said no lie. I ain't hear no lie from her. So, in regard to what she said to him, but this whole situation, like I said, it's a distraction from the Epstein files. This man knows that there's a whole lot of stuff on him and them things. This is why he is a bitch to Russia. He is a bitch to Israel. He is literally their bitch. So he's up in here trying to act like he's this authoritative figure that he's like this big macho man or whatever. Hence why he keeps playing the gayest song ever made in dance music. And it's funny how when you don't even get the double entendres of that damn song, you be playing it like it's your damn theme song. And all this other stuff, like I said, it's a distraction from the Epstein files. He doesn't want a lot of this stuff to get out. And this is why, for those who are not even aware of what's going on, this is why I feel like it's my due diligence to bring y'all the stuff that's going on with him that he don't want getting out. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards to the whole thing about Charlamagne and him going after Charlamagne? I'm like, what was the point of this? Like, you just doing all of this. Like I said, this is all a distraction from the Epstein files. He's trying to throw everything at the wall to see what sticks. Nothing is working, and they're gagging. They've been able to distract y'all and come up with so many other things. Take away your health care, take away your pensions, take away this, that, and the other, going after unions, close a lot of federal jobs, all the other laundry list of things that's going, the cancer research and all the stuff that's going out of the window, killing public access, destroying the education system, what's left of it. Like, there's a laundry list of things that they've been great at dismantling because they don't know how to create things. They know how to destroy, because it's easier to take a wrecking ball to things and actually come up with some damn policy that would actually move this country forward and help the American people who need help the most. It's hard to do that. So he's distracted with all this stuff. Everything's been able to work so far, but 6 months in, I think like people are just tired of the mess. People are tired of, the You know, people are not letting you off the hook with the whole Epstein files, and he's getting pissed because y'all keep asking about it, and he don't want that getting out. Hopefully somebody be smart enough to leak it. I wish Anonymous would get on it. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below.